There is a fine line between selecting your centre backs and putting pressure onto the ball carrier, whether that's your striker receiving the ball at his feet or the winger after your opponent has put it through to the width area. And I'm going to teach it to you.
Griezmann, 3 men around him to somehow find some space. Ronaldo, fantastic, opening the drive back.
He's made himself the tiniest bit of space.
Almost feels like a bit of a taunt. Didn't really go for him. Oh! The display there is absolutely ridiculous. The Elastico on the goal line. On the goal line, the finest.
We
of
talked about
margins.
Aussie FIFA. He's not here to make up the numbers.
You see, not many people do this unless they're a very high caliber defender, but there is an actual benefit of selecting the centre back and putting a lot of pressure onto an attacker on the ball, especially when they're isolated. And isolated is the key word there. If they're not isolated and they have passing options, do not drag your centre back out of position and put pressure onto the ball carrier. You will leave too much space and you will leave too many gaps for your opponent to exploit. But when they're isolated and they get the ball into the striker, it is very, very useful and effective to take your centre back and put a lot of pressure on him and force him back. Now, you don't want to continue going all the way back with that attacker as he continues to dribble away. As I said at the start, there is a fine line. And the fine line is you put pressure onto him, and if you haven't won the ball back within 2 seconds, you need to switch off and recover. You cannot keep pressurizing the ball carrier, otherwise the gap in space will be too large and your opponent will exploit it, especially if they're a high caliber attacker. So there is a fine line. It's very effective. You can select your centre backs, and I highly recommend doing it with the right stick, and then pressurizing, run up behind him with R2 and L2 and jockey and try and wrap around to get the tackle. But if you haven't won the ball back within 2 seconds, and that's a key time, 2 seconds, switch back off, recover, and get back to the regular defensive shape. Otherwise, you'll be susceptible. I've wanted to make a video on this because people have trouble with this of dragging their centre backs out and leaving gaps and spaces. So keep this rule in your mind. 2 seconds, haven't won the ball, recalibrate, recorrect, and get your defensive shape back. That will signal the end of it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm coaching 1-on-1 on patreon.com. If you want to be a part of that, the link is down below. But I'm out. Sayonara, au revoir, adios, salam, ciao, goodbye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. And lastly, if you do want any pre-gaming fuel or supplement, then head over to atpscience.com, which is the first link in the description, and use the code DylanEtsATP at checkout to get yourself a discount. Not only is it the cheapest way to get supplements, but it helps me out a ton, guys, so thank you.